Good morning, Facebook. This is Lori coming to you live from Lori's Wellness Loft. And for those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am a health and life coach, and my goal is to come on daily to give you little coaching gems that you can start using right away to live a happier, healthier life. So happy Monday, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank one of my viewers today for this amazing question that we're about to dive into. And this is a question that's very near and dear to my heart because I know that it's something that not a lot of people like to talk about, but it's something I'm going to really dive in. So if you cannot stay on for the entire call, I will upload this call to YouTube afterwards, and we'll also do a watch party later. So try to stick with me because I have some really good tips that are going to help you. So the viewer asked how to have faith while you're in the trenches. And I was just like, oh God, this is a good one, because it's very easy to have faith and trust when things are going well. You know, when things are going really good, you have such confidence. There's no doubt, there's no fear, because everything is really good. But then all of a sudden, something just jumps out at you. You know, you're living life and something happens that just rocks you, okay? It could be an illness. It could be being fired from a job. It could be a death of a loved one. It could be a divorce. It could be relocating to a place that's so unfamiliar and you feel so secluded and all alone. So right now, thankfully, my life is really good. But I had to think back, and trust me, everyone has periods in their life where there was uncertainty, when they were unsure, where their faith was kind of shaky, where they didn't know which way they were going to turn. So I had to think back, and I want all of you to think back too. I want you to think back to a time where you were feeling really unsure, where you were in a dark place, where it wasn't a good thing for you, whatever the circumstance that you were in, and you had to make a choice to either take the high road or take the low road. And I want you to think of what happened. What choices did you make? And it all has to do with your self-confidence. Okay, so self-confidence, I want to read, I Googled this morning, so I want to make sure I get it to you exact. So the definition of self-confidence is a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. So I thought back to a time where I'm going to share a personal story of my own. It's when I was going through a divorce. Okay, and I remember it was the first night that my husband wasn't there with us. Okay, so it was me and Allie and Joey, and there were, hello, Brian, how are you? They were 2 and 4 years old. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, oh my God, like I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to be a single parent. I don't know how to do this. What if something happens? What if there's an emergency? What if I need someone's help? I don't know if I can raise these kids on my own. Like when you're thrown into a situation of the unknown, your mind goes all over the place and you want to think of worst case scenario. And I had to stop myself and I just had to say, Lori, and there's 2 little kids here that are depending on me. I had to say, Lori, right now, the only thing you have to worry about is getting them to bed. And that was it. I just had to stay in the moment. I had to get them in their pajamas. I had to get them into the bed. And I kept saying to myself, you just have to make it through the night. You just have to make it through the night. That's all you have to do. And lo and behold, the 3 of us went to sleep. The 3 of us woke up the next day. Everything was okay. And sometimes that's how you have to break it down. When you are in a place where it's very dark and you are unfamiliar and you don't know if you're going to get through it, you have to just take little baby steps. And I remember listening to a webinar where whoever it was that was speaking was talking about life is like driving with headlights. You only see about 50 feet ahead of you. But you have faith and trust in the fact, good morning, David, good morning, Christy, but you have faith and trust in the fact that when you get another 50 feet ahead of you, those headlights are going to shine there. So what I tell people is when you're in that place where you don't know what to do, you just take baby steps, okay? You take a baby step, and then when you get there, you take another baby step, but you're just moving in the direction of where you want to be. And you don't always know where that is. And I felt like I was completely lost. I didn't know where I was going. I knew that I didn't want to be unhappy, and I knew I wanted the best life possible for myself and for my children. So I just started making baby steps to get there. And lo and behold, here I am 10 years later, and I'm living my best life. They are living their best life. You don't always know it in the circumstance. So that's the next thing I want to tell you. Wait, I want to make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. So one, you have to have faith and trust in the fact that even though you don't know why you've been thrown this curveball, okay? So I can look back to 10 years ago and say, why me? What was me? I didn't want to be a single mother, but I didn't realize that if it weren't for that situation, the opportunities in my life wouldn't have presented themselves in the same way, and I wouldn't be here right now. So sometimes you just have to trust in the fact that you don't always know everything about what's going to happen. And I always say to people, when you're in the picture, you can't always see it. Okay, when you're in the frame, you can't always see the whole picture. So I was there in the frame. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't like it, but all I knew is that I could only move forward for the betterment of myself and my children. Okay, so number one, you have to trust in the process. Even though you don't know what's going to happen, trust that everything is always happening for a reason. Okay, number two, call on others for help. I say this all the time. We're never alone. Okay, we are never alone. We may feel lonely, but we are never alone. And there is information, and there is support, and there is guidance that is coming to us from all around. And even if you feel completely alone, there are people out there that are willing to give help, that are willing to give advice, that are willing to give guidance. And I remember when we were first, finding our way, the kids and I, when I was newly divorced, I remember sometimes looking at them when I was just like, God, what do I do? And I would just ask for guidance, and I would look at them and I would say, what should we do right now? And they would say something like, let's make brownies. And I would say, you know what? That's better than sitting in the shit right now. Sorry, I dropped the bomb. It's better than where I was. Let's make brownies. Or they would say, let's go outside and play. Or let's go to the park. And sometimes you just have to shift your mindset into a more pleasant thought. You don't always have to be solving a problem. And sometimes when we're in a bad situation, we focus so much on that situation that we can't get out of it. So realize there is help. You know this saying, it takes a village? And I have this joke with my husband where I have like my dream team of people that I go to for different things. I have, my phone a friend for when I need information is my brother. He's like the smartest person on the planet. If I ever need, he's like Jeopardy smart. If I ever need something, I go to Chuck. If I need somebody who's like a Sherpa, my sister-in-law is somebody who is like an ant. She can carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. She's the kind of person who's like a little worker bee. She can get anything done. I have my girlfriends that all we do is laugh and just reminisce and have a good time. There are so many people in my arsenal that I know I don't have to do it myself. I have my spiritual gurus that I go to when I really need somebody to ground me and shake me and say, Lori, you can do this. So realize that you don't need to have all the answers and do everything yourself. You can lean on your support system, and there are people out there that will support you no matter what. Lastly, staying in the moment. Sometimes when you are completely overwhelmed, you just have to stop and take everything just in the moment. When you are projecting into the future, like when I was laying there in the bed the first night that I was alone, all I could do is think about what if. and that causes anxiety. Or I can go into the past and blame myself for everything that I did wrong to lead up to that terrible situation that resulted in divorce. Or I could have sat in the moment and said, you know what? I'm here for a reason, and I'm just going to stay present and stay here and be the best possible version of myself, for myself, and these two little people that are along for the ride with me. So it's staying present, and sometimes you have to take it minute by minute, not projecting into the future, not going back in the past, and just saying, what do I need to be doing right now? And if that's just taking a deep breath or walking outside, that's what you do in that moment. So if this was helpful for you, please drop me a 1 in the comments below. If I totally lost you, drop me a 2 in the comments below. And I really welcome all of you to message me with your topics that you would like me to talk about that are really applicable to what's going on in your life right now. So if I've piqued your interest and you're interested in taking this a step further, I actually just created a coaching sampler program where it's going to be an introduction to guided meditation, to life and health coaching, and energy work. So there will be a little snippet of all of those things that you can partake in to just see if this is something that would really help benefit you and get you back on track. So definitely get in touch with me if I've piqued your interest. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday, and I'll talk to you soon.